I'm Tiffany.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Kobe.
And it's going to be an amazing episode tonight.
It is.
It really is. And I know we were just talking before about our last podcast called Relationship Goals. And Kobe was just saying that she wish she would have said something different based off of this Instagram post that she just saw. So I'm like, girl, you can do it now. I mean, look, that's why we have multiple podcasts every week.
Right.
So last podcast we talked about relationship goals and a lot of the questions that you want to ask before going into the next level, whether that's going from dating to an exclusive relationship, from relationship to marriage, and marriage to better marriage. So we talked a lot about that, and it was really good.
Hit us with a question. What do we gain from being with our current partners? Mm-hmm. And after reading this post, I'm just like, I second this. I'm like, this part.
Yes.
This right here. But this is Green Eyes Gold Soul, and she says, what happens when an independent woman gets married? What happens when outspoken, opinionated, and determined women have been made to feel like they don't naturally possess the qualities of a wife because they tend to take the lead? How do we find comfort in submission when we've so naturally gone against the grain our whole lives? So many things are expected of a wife that I am so naturally not, and for the longest I was content with not being one. As an independent woman, what have I gained in marriage? A man I trust enough to lead, someone I can absolutely depend on even if I choose not to, a partner who meets me halfway, or even 80-20 on days I need it. A hand to hold through it all, an understanding and a patient friend who sees my heart above my flaws, and I'm better because of it. Independent women are wives too, and we don't need to shrink to become them.
Just all of that. Just all of that. Follow Green Eye Souls on Instagram because it was like the beginning and the end that got me. I love that she said, what did she have to gain? A man I trust enough to lead. And that's all we want. And then at the end, I love how she said she didn't have to shrink herself as an independent woman to be a wife. Yeah. A man found her that wanted a woman and appreciates someone who is an independent woman.
Yes.
And that's all we want. You don't have to shrink yourself if you think you're a lot.
Right.
And I just think that people need to know that. So thank you.
Yes.
All that.
She speaks for all of us. But today, it's time to check in. It's check-in time. Me and Kobe went to an amazing self-love experiment by our girl Chelsea. And there was this young woman there named Jasmine.
Yes.
All we know is good Jasmine. And she wrote a phenomenal book. I can't remember what the book is called. But she had us do a self-love experiment and ask us a few questions. Yeah. And so we're like, it really helped us with these few questions to really just really see where we're at in life and what we need in life at this very moment. So should we get into it?
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Okay. So the first question that she asked us is, how do you feel right now in this moment? And so if you're listening to us right now, we want you to go ahead and write it down or think about it wherever you're at. If you're able to write it down right now, if you're driving and you can't write it down, just think about it and ask yourself in this very moment, how do you feel? So ladies, every question we ask the audience, we got to ask ourselves.
Yes.
So in this very moment, how do you feel?
In this very moment, right here, right now, today, I feel good. Like today was a good day. This was a good day. But like over the past month, maybe even actually since I turned 27, actually, it's been kind of a roller coaster. It's been all of the emotions: angry, sad, disappointed, happy, content. I just felt all the emotions. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it right there.
Okay, we're gonna dive into it a little more.
Actually, I want to dive into it now. So you said since you're 27, you know you've been hit with this, new age, wonderful age.
Yes.
And so you said now you've been hit with all of these emotions. Would you?
Yes.
So my question is, do you think before you turned 27 that you were just kind of living on like a life high? You wasn't really like rationalizing or thinking about certain things, or do you think like what do you think it is?
Or do you feel like a super grown up now that you're 27?
I feel like it's super grown up.
Okay.
Even when I was 26, it was still like, okay, so first of all, let me say this. The transition if you're an American person, when you're 26 to 27, the biggest transition for you is you get kicked off your parents' insurance. Like,
yes,
you
sure do.
Like,
sure do.
Real life hits you. Like,
girl, you ain't
it's
lying.
like you can, hold on to their coattails as long as possible.
Yeah.
But it's like life really forces you to kind of grow up. And it's just since I turned 27. Not only did I get kicked off my mom's insurance, but I took on other financial responsibilities, like my own car insurance, paying my portion of the phone bill, so it was just other financial responsibilities as well that I took on. Right. And I knew it was coming, so it was a lot of pressure even leading up to me turning 27. Like, I felt a lot of pressure, like, oh my gosh, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. I gotta, make some stuff happen so I can be prepared when I do turn 27.
Right.
And it just didn't happen. So it's all these emotions.
Girl, I
can resonate with that, with like all the emotions. And I'm just going back to what you said in our meeting the other day. It's just like we put all this pressure on ourselves, like, okay, what do we need to do? What do we need to do? I need to grind. And we got this from Robert Harper's event, Live on Purpose. And it's just like, you don't need to grind, you need to obey. And try obedience. Yes. And that really resonated with me because I've been feeling the same way. And like my emotions this week have been very weird. So I can't even tell you like up and down, like in this whole day and this week it's been up and down because I'm just like, it was a point in this week where I was just like, okay, I am 27, I'm about to be 28, like I'm not trying to be in my mom's house. Even though I love and adore her, and I need to make something happen for myself that's outstanding. Like my brother's over here shooting a whole entire movie. He's amazing. He has Black Market. He's amazing. And I'm not comparing myself to him. I just, it's just, he makes me want to strive for more.
Exactly.
He's my brother. He's greatness. And, I just want to carry on that greatness. And so I'm like, I need to do something great too. Like we do the podcast. I have a job that I love, but I need something more. And so I've just been in the same space of like, what do I need to do? But in the back of my mind, I just know what I need to do. And when you said that quote, like, I'm like, all I need to do is obey and do what I know I need to be doing all along. And so I think we got to take the pressure off of ourselves and say, what do we really love? What do we really want for our life? What do we believe that God wants for our lives? And start really, really just going after that, because you can see so many things on YouTube. You can see so many things in other people's lives, how they're making money, how they're getting rich, how they're living their best life, but that thing might not be for you.
Exactly.
You want to do the things and get rich off the things you love and the things that God wants for you. And so that's really has been something that's been on my mind.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes me think about, I don't know what I was listening to the other day, but it was just like, basically maybe it could have been Joel, but it could have not been Joel. I just know it was a preacher that I would be listening to. So what he was saying was, because it's no coincidence that we're soulmates, because my answer was literally along the lines of like, I've been feeling like I'm all over the place, like everybody needs me, I need to be doing this, that, and the third. I need to help my mom, I need to help my grandpa, I need to help myself, I need to help Jarvis, I need to help, I just feel like I just need to help everybody, and I need to be 1,000 places at once, and I really need to learn to prioritize my life. I need to It's still things I need to do for my mom's house, like far as the final steps are coming to close. Well, we already closed the house, but just little knickknacks that need to be taken care of. And so I'm just like, my mind, I'm like, I want to do real estate. I want to get serious in that in an area. I'm like, I need to spend time with my dad. I need to spend time with my nieces and nephews. I need to spend time with my grandma. I'm like, I just feel like I need to be everywhere to everybody, to myself, but not even to myself, but to myself as well. And I'm gonna get there a little later. But then I was just like, going back to what I was listening to, and it was just like, goes with what Robert was saying, like at his amazing event where he was like, you know, sometimes we always talking about grind. Sometimes we need to be obedient. And what the preacher was saying was like, oftentimes we always talk about how we need to work. But when we work, God rests. And when we rest, God works. So I was like, okay, I just need to rest. Like, and I know who it was. This was Joseph Prince. In his book, he said that. And he was just like, basically, when you translate the word stillness, like be still, it translates to rest. And so it makes me think of the scripture, be still and know that I am God. So just rest and know that I am God. And so it was just like, I really just need to not just rest and be lazy, like everything gonna work out, but like I need to rest my mind, have peace of mind, and like put forth the steps that I do, because we know we're gonna do what we need to do, but not be so like scattered and like anxious and worried and just like, oh my goodness, how my life is gonna work. I need to have a savings with this amount by this time. I need to get this account taken care of. And then I'm just like, let me just rest my mind. Yes. Overwhelmed is definitely
the word. That's the word. Just listening to you, I feel exactly what you feel, and I'm just like, it's overwhelming.
Very. Just to be real with y'all, soulmates. But then I'm still not worried at the same time. But I do feel like, to be honest, just a little overwhelmed. Like, okay, I need to prioritize some stuff because I know I need. Like, I'm like, Selffulfilling needs stuff that we got goals we're trying to do, we're going to do, and I'm like, okay, that need to be taken care of. And I'm just like, it can all be done, but I really need to prioritize it. And so that'll come a little later in the next question. But how about for you, Tiff? How do you feel?
In this moment, I feel real good because I'm around you girls, and I just feel really happy. I'm very inspired because I started listening to this girl on YouTube. Her name's Erin On Demand, and we actually went to Howard University together. I didn't know her, but I knew of her, and it's just like, yo, y'all gotta watch her YouTube because she's very much about entrepreneurship, and she's a beast. That's all I can say. Like, she's really, really inspired me to really like start planning for 2020. But so on that end, I'm very inspired, and I'm like, okay, I'm about to make some vision boards. I'm about to make some processes, and I'm about to implement these things. I'm actually going to take action.
Yes.
But on the other hand, you girls know that, and I don't even want to speak this out loud. Like the other day, I was trying to go to Robert Harper's event. That's our friend. He has a Live on Purpose event, and it's amazing. And I've been looking forward to going to this and just supporting my friend. And I couldn't go because my anxiety came back, and it was just like, what the fuck?
Okay.
Like, I thought I was done. But that really messed with me because I had already been through this. And I'm like, why? Why is it coming back? And it's not coming back because I prayed it away and stuff. But it really messed with me. And my mom was just like, there might be a reason that you shouldn't have been there and stuff like that. But on that tip, it's just like, with this anxiety that's on it's so scary. It's so scary that I'm not even scared of like the driving part, which sometimes triggers it. I'm scared of the actual attack, so I'm scared of myself. And so it's like I'm thinking before I even want to get on the road, like, I hope I don't have a attack, like a panic attack when I'm on the road. Like, that's what I'm thinking, like, oh, I hope I don't get this feeling again. And then that's kind of like manifesting that feeling. And so it's just been like, when you said be still, you're saying obey, and I was just driving today, and I had to put on my gospel music because I'm like, I have to I was rebuking that spirit in the name of Jesus. I was like letting it out, I was praising it away, and then I was literally driving, and I was, how people always say Jesus take the wheel. Right. I'm literally driving. I'm like, Lord, you really literally take the wheel. Right. You literally gotta do it because that's the only way. But I'm not this time. The anxiety was really bad last year. It was super bad. Mm-hmm. But this time I'm just not letting that happen this time. Mm-hmm. And I'm fighting it right now, and it's gone. It is gone. In the name of Jesus, it's gone. Amen. But so that's it's a worry. For some reason it's a worry to not fall back into it. Yeah. And so just pray for me, and just because I'm gonna overcome this. So I'm just so mixed emotions about what I'm doing for 2020. I gotta get my life popping and fighting this small battle. And even what you said to me, because I told Kobe, tell me everything that was said at the live show at the Live on Purpose event with Robert Harper. And I remember just as I was driving, when you said you just gotta keep fighting. You can't stop. You just gotta keep fighting, and just be prepared to fight. I got this, and I'm like, okay, fuck this anxiety. I'm fighting this, and I'm going to get over it. And it's going to be another testimony.
Exactly. Absolutely. And that's really what keeps me going. I'm like, okay, it's other people going through stuff. If they can make it through it, then you can get through this. Come on. Just keep going. Just wake up. You got to just grind it out another day. Come on. You got this. Yes. And it really is what keeps me going.
Yeah. Seriously.
Same here. Y'all, I don't think there's a bitch bone in our body. I'm sorry. And I just had to say it like that because it just makes me think of those self-fulfilling prophecies and those and normally self-fulfilling prophecies have a negative connotation because it's our, like you were saying, it's yourself against yourself. And like you were just saying, it's a fight I have with myself, but not I don't want to make it seem but some days I really have to just cry out, literally yell out, stop thinking that. No, what the fuck are you thinking? Yes. Why are you trying to manifest this shit? Yes. Literally, no, seriously, because those self-fulfilling our thoughts, and I know Robert Harper said this, I'm not sure if I'm going to say it, but I'm looking at this, it's like a cycle, a web for self-fulfilling prophecies, and it says our beliefs create our action, and then our actions determine what other people are going to think about us, so it determines other people's beliefs about us, and then it also creates other people's actions toward us. So I'm just we thinking about all these things while we're so what if this happened? Then other people gonna think this, and then I'm gonna not do this or do this, and it's just you're creating a spiral of something that's happening inside of your head that hasn't even. It's probably not 9.99% of the time. It's not going to happen.
It's not real.
It's just not real.
I have to tell myself that. I was it's not real.
It's not real, y'all. It's not, and so it's I can't give this thought so much power so that it can become a reality. Right. And it's sometimes I know it's easier said than done, and I know we've talked about this, but it's so important that we keep talking about these things because we relive things. Life is a cycle, and just because you may have put something behind you in the past, the time you feel it coming up, you got to reapply all those same things and sometimes more just to make sure it don't come back, so you don't relive those cycles. Because and I it was a study, and I was having this conversation with this guy that works in my school with me, and he was saying they teach you in AA classes that habits can never really truly be broken. And I was like, yeah, because it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. He was like, you could create. He's like, technically what you're doing is creating new habits, but you're not forgetting your old habits. Yes. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, because I'm like, no, you are. And so, but it made me think this is true. Because think about it. We could, like, we wear flat shoes or shoes that don't need laces, but if we don't wear shoes that need laces for 10 years, we'll still know how to tie our shoes. Mm-hmm. And so it just makes you think, like, all these habits, whether good or bad, are still dormant in you. So it's up to us to be on our P's and Q's to make sure we create enough good positive habits so the negative habits can't bring themselves up to the surface again. So just like being very conscious of the habits any habits that you create, the new habits that you try to create in your future, just being very cautious and aware of, anything that you decide to make a habit.
No, that's real. I did want to add on is, like, there are things in our lives, whatever you're dealing with, whatever your fight is, your battle is right now, is just the thing that keeps us going, that we said, is not giving up and know that there's better on the other side. There's a better day. This is a temporary situation. But a lot of people get trapped because they are scared. Yeah. They're scared to get out of, like, a relationship. They're scared to drive, to make that next step. But the only way out is through. Like, there's no, you get on that GPS and you start trying to find your way, going all these other places, you gonna be taking longer to get out. So the only way out is through that real healing, really facing and confronting those fears and going through and keep taking, like, each step. Like, that's the only way out. It's the only way out of the storm is to go through. And so I just want to say, like, let us not be trapped by these temporary battles that we have. Just going back to Robert Harper's show, like, I act like I'm there. What you were telling me about
David and Goliath. Yes, that's exactly what you were saying. That it made me think about that. And what you said also made me think about what he said as well, perspective. It all started with perspective, and he was saying, in life we're gonna have battles, and what better story do we have or example do we have other than David and Goliath? And he had this battle first. And we always think about the battle between David and Goliath, but before that big battle, he had to fight a bear, a lion, a bear,
a whole lion, a whole entire bear.
So what happens if he would have worked his way or finessed his way out of fighting that lion? He wouldn't have been ready for the bear. He wouldn't have had the courage, the confidence to be able to, take on those next battles. So you're right, we do. We have to go through those. We have to push through those moments, through those hardships, because it does something to our, like you said, our confidence, our swag. It's like, you know what, okay. Anxiety, I've seen you before. I got this. Like,
move
around. Nothing. Yes.
Right.
Move around, bitch.
Exactly.
Yeah, bitch. I'm sorry. I was going to just ask you to touch on the perspective part too, because the way we look at our battles.
Yes. Look, I forgot what he said.
It's basically what you said, like, your battle is just, like, instead of being, like, scared of the battle or trying to, like, I don't feel like going through this, like, I gotta go through this again, be like, no, this is about to prepare me for my destiny. This is getting me prepared for Goliath, for me to be a name in the Bible, for me to be great forever. I'm getting prepared for this, and it's gonna make me stronger, because we don't want to go through life thinking, like, like we said earlier, it's a fight, it's a battle, blah, blah, blah. That sounds like a downer. The perspective has to turn into, I'm a fighter, and I got this. I'm a conqueror. I'm an overcomer.
Yes.
Not no weak, I'm a victim. Like, oh, life is so blah, blah. Like, no, I got this. Because you know what we got? The Most High.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I did want to also touch on this. I wrote this down, is with our thoughts. And I think it's because we know what affects me more than anything is because I know how powerful my thoughts are. I know how powerful my words are. I know how powerful I am. And so I know that I can manifest anything. Like, period. But I have to also know that even my thoughts are not greater than the Most High God. Yeah. So even if I am thinking negative, but I know God knows that I'm trying my best to turn it around and to think positively and to speak positively, He's going to take care of me regardless. So that's why we have to let Him have the will. We have to stand on our faith, because though we are powerful, He made us. And He's more powerful, and He's going to take care of us. Yes. And so, yeah.
That just make me think of what also I shared with you yesterday is 2 Corinthians 4. Y'all just got to read the whole thing. But I'm going to read just a few of them because...
But Jasmine, before you go into this, tell me why I was on Chelsea, that's Chelsea's Instagram. Yes. And she was saying, ask me questions. And they were like, what's your favorite Bible verse? I took a screenshot. It was the verse that you just talked about.
Wow. This is like my new favorite one. Like, wow. For real. Okay. We now have this light. So this is coming from Treasure in Fragile Clay Jars. So we are treasure in fragile clay jars. And it says, we now have this light shining in our hearts, but we ourselves are like fragile clay jars containing this great treasure. This makes it clear that our great power is from God, not from ourselves. We are pressed on every side by troubles, but we are not crushed. We are perplexed, but not driven to despair. We are hunted down, but never abandoned by God. We get knocked down, but we are not destroyed. Through suffering, our bodies continue to share in the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be seen in our bodies. And if we skip down, that is why we never give up. Though our bodies are dying, our spirits are being renewed every day. For our present troubles are small and won't last very long. Yet they produce for us a glory that vastly outweighs them and will last forever. So we don't look at troubles we can see now. Rather, we look and we fix our gaze on things that cannot be seen. For the things that we see now will soon be gone, but the things we cannot see will last forever. Woo. Y'all
know that's a whole word. And I love the last part where it's saying, fix your eyes on God, I think it said.
So we do not look at the troubles we can see now. Rather, we fix our gaze on the things that cannot be seen.
And I think this is like a really good tip that I share all the time with, if you are having fears or anxiety, of just picturing the things that haven't made you happy yet, but like getting to your destination.
I see my house.
See it. You have to.
I see that land.
See the bank account.
I see that bank account.
You see the love of your life. Your children.
I see happy smiling faces.
Yes.
I see the feeling. I feel the feeling.
I see us traveling.
I see
getting paid to do what we love to do.
I see Selffulfilling.
What do y'all see?
Everywhere.
A household name.
Yes.
Period. Okay.
Y'all.
Right. But it's so important for us to see it as much as we possibly can. And like sometimes it gets discouraging sometimes because it's like, dang, that's hard to see that. But you really, really have to see it, because the more you see it in your mind's eye, the more you are going to put action to it with your physical body. Like if you don't see yourself doing, you're not going to be motivated to go wake up early, to go stay out late, or to not even do that, to trust and be obedient, to know that God is going to work it all out, or to even, take that risk, because if you don't see it in your mind, you like, oh, that can't happen. So you're not even going to be willing or able to take that risk. And it's just like,
no, that's facts.
Ooh, you have to see it.
Like, I know you said you want to give me this house, but I'm looking at my bank account and I don't know how I'm going to get this house, but like, I trust you. I know I'm going to get it.
Not period.
I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you
like
with all my heart.
You cannot look at your current circumstances. You just have to fix your gaze on the things not seen. Fix your gaze on whatever it is that God promised you.
And that's favor. That's faith. Faith is the evidence of things unseen.
Come on.
And it makes me think of what we said at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's funny because what Green Eye Soul says is, as an independent woman.
Yeah.
As an independent person, all she wanted was a man I trust enough to lead.
Yeah.
And I feel like God just wants us to trust him enough to let him lead.
Ooh.
And it's just like,
Right?
yeah.
We want to do this on our own. We like, nah, I got this. I'm gonna.
And that's really all we want too.
Wow.
And he's like, yeah, well, I got you.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, God.
Yes.
He's like, yeah.
Okay, too.
I got you.
Okay.
But yeah. Wow. All right, moving on to the next question.
We just had to let that marinate.
Yeah.
Marinate.
Yeah. What do you need? I could answer this.
Yeah.
Just with dealing with this fake ass anxiety. I ain't got it. I don't claim that at all. I really don't like that word. But I don't claim it. But with going through this, I lean more on my friends and my family. And that's what I need. I need their support. I need their prayers. I need their love. And I need their connection. I would call my brother because I was struggling a little bit, or I thought I was about to struggle. It went away. But it went away just from the sound of his voice. The fact that he just picked up. And you just don't know how far, I know y'all were at work, you just don't know how far picking up a phone call goes. You don't know how far feeling safe with your family goes. And so in that moment earlier today, all I needed was my family. And they prayed for me like a day ago, and that just helped so tremendously, just being able to be in connection and hold hands with my family, to know that we're calling in on the Most High and leaning on him, and that we're able to have this connection. It's just I just can't. That's what I need.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what I have, thank God.
Yes.
It's beautiful that you said that, because it just makes me think about our episode of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And that need to feel safe. We can't reach our dreams, our goals, or manifest any house, no money, no marriage if we don't at least feel safe.
Yeah.
And so like that is one of the lowest level, quote unquote, which is really huge, a low level of feeling safe and feeling secure. I think that's always a huge need. And I just love how you said just hearing your voice just made it all feel better. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful.
It's funny you brought that up, because for me, I just feel, going back to me and my situation, y'all, transitioning to this adult, I'm taking on, all the responsibilities for myself. I'm not a wife or a mom just yet. So I feel like my career is really what defines me, like right now, like what I'm doing. So I feel like I need something to contribute to that is bigger than just myself. Which I get that with Selffulfilling, but also, like my day job, which maybe this, is gonna one day turn into my day job. But also just I don't know if I'm expressing that right.
No,
I
you
just,
are.
Definitely.
I am identifying with that. Like I really
need a career path or something that I'm contributing to, and also just that is gonna give me the financial, stability that I need as well. So yes, I just need a career, financial stability, and trust in the Lord.
Yeah, 2020 is a game changer. Period. Yeah. Mark our words.
when I was thinking about this question before the podcast, I was on the phone with Jarvis.
Yes.
And so naturally, my role as a person has just 360 changed within the course of the last year. And I think it's been a beautiful transition. It's everything I prayed for and I had dreams of and didn't even know. I remember I was sharing, Tiffany reminded me I had a dream that I had a daughter.
Yes,
when I used to work at Nordstrom, like years ago. Yeah. And I told her, I was like, but my daughter was already big.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
wow.
I was like, I had a daughter, but I don't know why she was already like, a 4-year-old, like a 4-year-old, she was already a grown child, like, but not a grown up, but like she was already in her toddler, past her toddler stage. And now fast forward to today, I'm like really like Eva's mom, her stepmom, like I'm there, and I'm just like, so my, like when I was thinking about my needs, I'm like, I'm always like thinking about like what, like how can I help her life be better. Just be more complete, and then praying for like a relationship with my mom, and it's actually finally manifesting just in the most beautiful way. Like, y'all, it's like never a dull moment with my mom, and I just love it to bits. Like, I was just with her for the podcast, and we went to like this sushi restaurant. It was so good, but like it was just in GNC, and then she made me go to Walgreens. It's just all over in a matter of an hour. We went like a gajillion different places. And then, like, just being there for Jarvis, like, as his girlfriend, hope to be future wife soon, y'all. And just, like, so when I thought about what do I need, immediately my mind just started rushing, like, what does everybody in my life need? And then Jarvis was like, he's like, when you think of, I asked him, I was like, the question that we're talking about is, what do you need? And he's like, most of the time, we're not thinking about what we need. We're thinking about what everyone else needs. And he's like, especially you. And so I was like, dang, I do that. And then I remember when I was reading Maya's book, she was like, when you talk about your characteristics of what you want to see in yourself for a relationship, she was like, your number one thing, and this was weird to me, she was like, it should not be like, I just want to take care of people. I was like, what's wrong with that? I always thought that was the way of life to be. And then it also made me think about the Green Eyes Gold Soul post, where she was like saying that he meets me, or I'm probably gonna butcher the way it said, but like basically he's there taking care of me even when it's 80%, not 20.
A partner who meets me halfway, or even 80-20 on days I need it.
On days I need it. And so, well, I was saying all that to say, I'm just trying to think about like, what does Jasmine truly need to feel full? Because I haven't thought about my needs so much. I just been going on like trying to do for everyone else. I'm like, I know I feel like drained, but some way I still feel fueled, like helping people pours energy back into me. In a sense, I don't know, it's weird. I just feel like I wouldn't even be myself if I wasn't helping people, because my life just feels so full when I am helping them. But I do need to look back and say, okay, Jasmine, it's okay to treat yourself. It's okay to like, do things for you. And so I think I need a real life session with someone that can help me plan my priorities. That's really what I need, because I'm like, I want to help this person, that person, that person. So I really need to prioritize.
Things I like.
Right, Alana? Yeah. I mean, man, I just need to prioritize my life, because sometimes when I don't do everything, I do everything for everyone else. And then I look back, I'm like, dang, I still ain't took that off my credit report. And I said I was going to do that. But then I done over here did this for you. And I'm behind. Right. I basically got a whole house for my mom. And I was supposed to pay my medical bill that was due for my physical like last week or something. And I'm just like, okay, I need to prioritize this stuff.
But I was also thinking, also, like, all the things that you do is very inspiring and it's changing people's lives. But also think about, in the future, if you put as much effort into what you were doing for them, now that that's over, they're going to be good to go into what you want. Just as you saw all the miracles that you could produce with God doing that, Now just think about the miracles you can produce for yourself and where you want to be with all the effort. Because you could do it. You could do it for yourself too.
Yes, that's what I said. Me and my dad was just talking about this. He was like, "You going all hard for everybody." I was like, "I need a personal Jasmine, someone to go." I swear, I was like, "I need someone to go as hard for me as I go for everybody else." I really need, but I'm really talking to myself. I need to go as hard for myself as I go for everyone else. I really, really do. I need that. Like, I don't know. It's like when I love someone, I can just like go so hard. But I'm like, I really need to. I do love myself, but I'm like, I just really need to evaluate that and like go hard for myself, like I go for others.
And the last question, I don't know if we should answer it right now or if we should answer it in the next episode because we are our time is up. I think the guy just pulled up.
Yeah, he is here.
So I guess we're just gonna have to answer it next time.
Yes. Okay.
TBH. Wait. To be continued.
To be continued.
TBC?
Yeah.
I'm trying to make everything an acronym.
TBC. To be continued. To be continued.
To be honest.
Oh,
We gotta go.
I see what you did there. Hey, girl. Okay. Wow, that went by so quick.
I know.
Okay, well, what time is it?
It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time.
Y'all, if this is your first time tuning in on the Selffulfilling podcast, we always end our podcast with a positive affirmation. So, what the heck is an affirmation? An affirmation is any statement that you are using to transform your life. Y'all, even in the Bible, it states, "Let the weak say, I am strong." So on those days when you're feeling weak, don't affirm that in your life. Instead, affirm that you are feeling strong and God has it all in control. So there's 3 of us, and I'm affirming that there's millions, billions, trillions, or just whoever is divinely meant to be out there tuned in to the Selffulfilling podcast. So who wants to go first?
I could go. I am free and I am an overcomer.
I am feeling my best.
I am feeling renewed.
Good stuff, guys. And before we just exit out of this whole podcast, I did want to leave y'all with the last question so you could ask yourself this. So we'll just start from the beginning. First, you want to ask yourself, how do you feel right now in this moment? What do you need? And the last question is, why are you feeling this way? And so, just in case we don't get back to it, I just wanted to make sure y'all have the questions that y'all can use for yourself. And let us know what you end up coming up with. We want to know. Hit us up on our Instagram. It's Soulfilling Podcast, SOUL space FILLING podcast. And we're Soulfilling Podcast everywhere. So you can listen to us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, SoundCloud. And if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, if you could do us a huge favor and give us a 5-star rating and write something soulful and sweet, and that will just get us boosted up in the rankings so everybody can get their soul fed. We love you guys so much. Go out and be your best self, and I hope your soul is fed.
Until next time, soulmates.
Love you.